So many of you guys might know that Mark Zuckerberg has become more based. This is with the martial arts and MMA that he's undertaking. That something awakened in him, he claimed on the Joe Rogan Experience recently. And he's opened up the avenue for free speech once again on Facebook after it was curtailed by the Biden government. He, in fact, stated that the Biden administration would literally get on the phone with Facebook and yell at them, demanding that they take down certain posts that were against the regime's stance on COVID. Yelling at an American company to stymie American free speech, a clear violation of the First Amendment. And this just shows you the utter contempt that the Democrats and the Uniparty have for our Constitution, which is the most successful in history and enshrined free speech as the First Amendment of the Constitution. And it demonstrates the authoritarian streak that is so pervasive throughout the Biden administration, administered by those who were puppeteering Joe Biden. Those puppet strings moving his arms and mouth, because it's been admitted that he had dementia before he came into office, that he was non-cognoscenti, and they continued to lie to all of us, insisting that he was the elite of intelligence. He was Vivek Ramaswamy squared. He had a photographic memory, and yet somehow he kept bumbling on camera, and they called that cheap fakes. And to counter the regime, your post on Facebook was demoted, or you were thrown off of the platform, accused of spamming. I have nearly lost my account on Facebook a couple of times now. I appealed and somehow won, but that's aside of the point. We are going in a new direction for free speech. And those who were in the administration demanding that our First Amendment be violated need to be held on trial and imprisoned if found guilty. I would love to see the calls, hear them, or the transcript of them. That would be a beautiful thing, because then we could demonstrate exactly how the Biden administration did so. And to all of you progressives, you say that you wanted free speech. It used to be a liberal leftist value, and now it has moved over to the right wing. And that's why you've lost people like me that used to describe themselves as liberal, because I am liberal. Liberal means liberty of the individual to do or say whatever they want, so long as it does not have negative externalities upon others. So, for example, I can't pollute a river throwing in toxic chemicals because it is cheaper for me as a business and negatively affecting those who are downstream with cancer or other toxicity. So long as I'm not doing something that has such negative externalities, I can say or do pretty much whatever I want. And they are trying to control us. Hey, freedom of choice, they scream. Freedom for women to choose their reproductive rights. Your body, your choice, they insisted, as they attempted to mandate that you get a vaccine plunged into your arm, because it's not your body, your choice, when it's something that they demand. These people are the ultimate hypocrites. And I thank God that we are now, thanks to Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, moving into the free speech direction. Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg was wrong. Yeah, he kowtowed to the administration. And why do you think that is? It's definitely partly because they, as a company, need the protection of the U.S. government in order to fight back against the European regulators who see the American tech companies giant cash cows to be milked of their profits so that they can go ahead and employ their progressive policies in Europe with the money earned by American companies, negatively affecting, of course, shareholders and the tax receipts here. And when the Biden administration decides that they are going to curtail speech, they are employing the leverage that they have the ability to fight back against those gangsters in Europe who are trying to take what is undeserved to their coffers to siphon it away from America. Because that's the game. Because the whole political apparatus worldwide is just whoever has the most power. And right now, that's the US. So when the US government does not side with Mark Zuckerberg, unless he performs the tasks that they desire, well, he's got to, for the good of the shareholders, for the good of his company, because otherwise they are going to do everything that they can to put him out of business, the same way that they took $56 billion agreed to from Elon Musk for hitting absolutely impossible metrics. And the state of Delaware decided that that's not going into his pocket. Do you think that that was anything more than political, other than the fact that Elon Musk freed the bird and allowed free speech? Thus, the administration took whatever leverage they could in order to take from him that would protect the freedoms of America, which they are avidly trying to take away in order to retain power, in order that they might be able to propagandize you without any pushback, which is the whole purpose of demoting posts that showed a different side of the argument. And this is why free speech is so vital and why we cannot allow the government to interfere with the voices of Americans battling each other, because there can be good ideas on both sides of the aisle and bad ideas, and we want those to war against each other in the public domain with the greatest amount of space available for those ideas to do battle, with sunlight shone upon the bad ideas on each side and amplifying the good ideas, because that's how we reach a consensus that benefits all Americans. So with Zuckerberg now transformed into somebody that is more protective of free speech, we should be able to thank ourselves as Americans and thank goodness for Elon Musk starting the trend rolling by freeing the bird, by allowing free speech to take place on Twitter, because as Brett Weinstein says, 0 is a special number. At that point, you have zero competition, where users will tend to use the social media that allows their ideas to propagate. And Twitter did that, thus putting pressure on other companies, including Google, including Facebook, and even Amazon's Twitch, to allow free speech to once again begin to move, for that water of humanity's ingenuity to flow downstream without being dammed by the federal government for ideas that they don't like, in order to protect their positions of power so that they can milk the taxpayer dry and take more of our money towards their progressive causes, whether that be DEI or sending it to Pakistan for gender studies. The stupidity of these people is vast, other than the fact that they were able to find ways to regulate, but it's really just simple leverage that they employed against Mark Zuckerberg that made him turn from basically a libertarian on speech to somebody that had to bend the knee to the progressives of the Biden administration. And that, my friends, is done. And that opens up new possibilities for America, as our ideas are once again able to battle in public and not be squashed by the progressive ideology, not be squashed by not being able to say the word trans and anything but the most glowing adjectives afterwards. I think that we should be thankful that this transformation is taking place. And many people can take issue with how Mark Zuckerberg handled the initial onslaught against his company, but he is a capable CEO and frankly a decent guy overall. That doesn't mean that people have not been negatively affected, but let's just remember who it was that undertook these proceedings. It was the leftists. It was the uniparty. It was the progressive Biden administration that wants to cram their ideas down your throat and censors anybody with a different point of view. And had Kamala won, that would have just gotten worse and worse and worse. And so, yes, we should thank God for the fact that Trump won, which now opens up the possibility of free speech for Americans and those around the world who will look at America as the shining example, the beacon on the hill, and follow suit and demand the same rights for themselves. That includes in communist countries, hopefully, like China, North Korea, Canada, and the UK. May these people be freed. May we take over Canada, but not take it as a 51st state, because I am unwilling to allow all of those leftists that have been propagandized by Justin Trudeau and his Liberal Party and the NDP from entrance into the United States. Let them wait in line for health care for 24 hours when they have a broken arm, or even longer when they have cancer. Okay, that's a little schadenfreude. I don't really mean that, but thank you, Zuck. And thank you most of all to Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Be brave, America. Let's take these people down.